Well, hello, and welcome to another episode of Think Good Conversations. And if you remember last week, I shared with you the concept of your backpack and what you're carrying around every day, and the idea that we all get to choose how that backpack feels and how it's serving us. And so today, in part two of this conversation, I wanted to pose a few questions that you might want to consider as you consider this backpack. And I want to also say that this concept, this metaphor for the backpack, seems to be something that's incredibly powerful for my coaching clients to consider. When I give you these tips, they are quick tips. However, if you need some support on them, I'm here. So I just want to share a story with you in the most general way. I recently had a conversation with one of my clients who literally looked like she was getting weighed down by the weight of that backpack. And when I observed that in her, and as we were talking about the heaviness of that backpack, she started to figure out what was in that backpack that she was carrying around. And so much of that backpack was around other people's expectations on her, multiple roles that she plays, and all the things she was saying yes to. And so we started to unpack the backpack in our call and started to think about, what areas of your life can you work on in terms of unpacking that backpack? Some of us can make some changes in our home lives. Some of us can make some changes in our work lives. Some of us can make some changes in what we say yes to in our community. So, the first question I have for you is, how heavy are the items that you're carrying around? Is it a couple of bigger items? Is it one huge items? Or is it a lot of stuff, a lot of little things that you could let go of? I think this is really important because the big things that we carry around can be more challenging to take out of our backpack, right? They're heavier going in and they can be heavier coming out. But certainly the things that are light, and let's call them the pebbles in our backpack, might be easy things to unload to make our life a little bit easier, right? Might be that one commitment you make, one extra commitment that you make to an organization you're part of, or it might be saying yes or no to a weekend invitation if you're not really feeling up to it. Those might be smaller rocks. The bigger rocks in our backpack are harder to unload, and they're around big choices in our life, maybe relationships, maybe our career happiness. So let's start with the pebbles when we're looking at small wins in emptying out the backpack. So how heavy is your item? And is the item something that depletes your energy on a regular basis? Is the item something that depletes your energy on a regular basis? If the same thing keeps coming up for you over and over again, that's usually a really good sign that you need to be paying more attention to it. The second piece, or the second question, is, where is a place that you can make some changes to what you're carrying around? And that leads to the third question, which is around how what you're carrying around and what's heavy for you is aligned to your values. I personally think that it's impossible to really rearrange what's in our backpack until we're very clear about our values. When we get clear on our values, it becomes much easier to make decisions. Our values, the work we do around our values, enable us to figure out where we're going. When we know where we're going, we know what no longer serves us. So the question is, how are items in this backpack of yours aligned with your personal mission and your values? And finally, a question that I always like to ask and is a key to a coaching conversation is, how is what you're carrying around serving you? Not only that, how are all those items you're carrying around serving other people? And so what I've also noticed and observed is that as women in particular, we first look at, saying yes to things because of our people pleasing, because of our needs to be perfect, our needs to do the right thing all the time. And so, my question is, how is that serving you? And how is that impacting things like your relationships, your satisfaction at work, and your overall satisfaction in life? So, let's try this. Let's give ourselves permission to take the backpack off. Let's give ourselves permission to revisit our values. Let's give ourselves permission to review our mission statement. Let's think about what we want to put back in the backpack. It's back to school time. What do we want to put back in the backpack based on how those items fit into our values and our mission? And how do those items serve us? So that's what I'd like you to consider for today. If you need some help figuring out what is in your messy backpack and in your heavy backpack, I'm here to help. Feel free to reach out, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on this video. Take care and have an amazing, amazing afternoon.